Why, hello there. It's me, Witchy, here talking for the Dark Carnival Witchery. It's really something of my own creation, but outside of me, I suppose. If you haven't been following along, I am the first Dark Carnival Witch because I made up this sect of witchcraft that follows the Dark Carnival as opposed to any other pantheon. It's the based off the music and mythologies of Violent J and Shaggy 2 Dope and ICP and all that, with my own little twist. Not to mention Twisted's in there and everything else that attracts most other juggalos, except I incorporate it into my witchcraft. One major thing you do in witchcraft is cast a sacred circle. A high priestess or priest would cast a circle before a ritual to mark out the sacred space in which you're performing the ritual, and for all who attend and who are a part of the ritual to be within. And also solitary practice, witches will cast a sacred circle to meditate, do their own little solitary rituals or spells. So in Dark Carnival Witchery, I haven't shared really too many of my spells yet, but I have done a little spell work with Dark Carnival Witchery. I've done rituals like the initiation ritual. I casted a sacred circle using all 4 of the elements. Traditionally, they're called watchtowers. You can jugglify them all you want. A lot of times, what I do to cast a circle, or most of the time I shall say, when I cast a circle, it is a spirit of the moment type thing. If you ever watch Tarot Tuesdays, I cast a circle every time before I do the reading to really get in the mindset. And I think that's a big part with the solitary practice, is getting in the mindset of what you're doing and being in that space within yourself there where there is no space or time, if you know what I mean, that meditative trance-like state. It's an initiation of that state of being, casting the circle. You don't have to cast a circle. Not all witches do that. Not all believe it's necessary. I don't think it's necessary, but in Dark Carnival Witchery, I found myself doing it because it seemed to fit. Before I really started following the Dark Carnival in my witchcraft, I had performed spells before that in other deities' names, and I casted a circle for that. So I was just someone who casted circles before this, so don't feel obliged if you want to start incorporating the Dark Carnival into your witchcraft. If you're a juggalo or somebody's just happened to get into it and is already a witch and think it might be neat to incorporate some of that symbology, you can cast a circle. Look at the Tarot Tuesdays. But basically what I do is I mark out the space in my mind, and I either use my hand like that, or I use a special Dark Carnival Witchery tool, the Hatchame, which it's not uncommon to use anathema to cast a sacred circle, or a wand. You could use your finger as well as your hand. The point is that you are marking out or cutting out your space. The space that is you, and nothing else can cross except for what you allow, like your gods or goddesses or ancestors or whoever you invite in. I'll probably make more videos on casting a circle, but I just felt it was long overdue to kind of touch upon this subject. So basically, if you watch my Tarot Tuesday, I say what comes to mind. A lot of times it rhymes, but I don't necessarily believe a spell has to rhyme, though most do, and I think it's a lot more effective if they do. I think the rhyming rule kind of came from a time when people didn't write shit down, so it's easy to remember shit that rhymed. So I don't think it's necessary that it rhymes, but that it flows and that it is, closed at the end of my Tarot Tuesday. I say Merry Murder, Happy Death, and I wish you all the best. That's my closing. That's my farewell to the deities and the opening of my sacred circle. Traditionally, what many do is a similar thing, thanking the gods that if they called those into the circle, and also just saying that the circle is open but never broken type thing, or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Off the top of my head, I can't remember any more exact words to it, but basically you're opening it up and thanking whatever spirits were with you that they were there with you, because you want to be courteous to those of the other side just like you would to people on this side of the astral plane. So anyway, that is all it is to casting a circle. It's just creating your space and being respectful to close it out, not forget what you have done. Basically, that's my thoughts, is staying focused on your task, and part of the task is closing it out. Just like a spell, you always want to close it out with so mote it be, blessed be. I like a good and I make it so, wicked we. That's kind of my Dark Carnival Witchery version. I like the wicked we. And I make it be, because that's what spells are about, the ritual's about. It is your power, you are doing it, you make it so. It's merely a closing to the spell, or else it's open. So, same thing, the sacred circle leaves you open to things. Casting it kind of gives your own space, your own room. With a Dark Carnival Witchery, what I like to do a lot of times, especially in the beginning, is imagining the ravens, the crows, lowering down a carnival tent, and it's a sacred carnival tent. You could also go a little bit more in depth and light a incense or a smudge stick and smudge the area and say, I clear this space of all unwanted energy. I like to say unwanted energy, especially since I started the Dark Carnival Witchery, as opposed to negative energy, because you do need both negative and positive, the light and the dark. They're both important, but both sides have unwanted things that are not a part of you, and that's what I like to get rid of. That's why I steer more towards saying unwanted energy or unwanted spirits as opposed to labeling them negative, positive, good, or bad. Just unwanted. That's where I'm at right now. So yeah, hopefully in those mumblies about sacred circles will give you some ideas in your own journey on how to make your own sacred circle. Remember, it's you. And the best thing to do is come up with it in your own mind, in your own spirit. It's much more powerful than just memorizing somebody else's words. Because the most important thing, whether you're casting a circle or casting a spell or performing a ritual, is your intention. Above all, it's always about your intention. And with that, I bid you adieu. Wicked we, my fellow witches. Whoop whoop.